If you've got a dog who already pulls on the lead, I've got some good news for you and I've got some bad news for you. The good news is it's incredibly easy to teach your dog not to pull. The bad news is it's incredibly hard to teach your dog not to pull. I know that sounds crazy. What you have to do to teach your dog not to pull is incredibly simple, but actually having the commitment to do it is really hard. When we put our dogs on the lead, we seem to then work at cross purposes. We seem to think, I'm not going to let my dog make me walk any faster, while your dog thinks, oh, I've got to pull so hard to get her to go this slowly. So they pull, we pull, and it becomes a bit of a vicious circle. Our dogs genuinely believe that the quickest way to get us to go anywhere is to pull. This makes walks unpleasant for both of us, and if you've got a large and strong dog, it can be dangerous. It can even injure your dog's neck if he's continually pulling all the time. So we have to train our dog that he will never ever get anywhere faster by pulling ever again. In fact, the quickest way to get where he wants to go is to walk nicely on a loose lead. He has to believe in his heart of hearts that from now on, pulling will never ever work again. And so that's what makes it so hard, because you have to make the commitment that your dog is never going to pull again. And that means no matter how long it's going to take you to get somewhere. So to help me show you how to teach your dog never to pull again, I've got Digby here. Now you need to start in a really quiet place with no distractions. You need some really nice yummy training treats. There you go, Digby. Your 6-foot training lead, and that needs to be clipped on to a plain flat collar. There we go, we're ready to go. So step 1 of teaching this is to teach your dog that a loose lead is good. So as long as the lead is loose, it doesn't matter where he is, you can give him a treat. Hold it right at the end, and he has to learn that loose lead means good stuff for the dog. Now, after you've practiced that a lot, so that your dog knows that every time you clip the lead on, the lead's got to be loose when you're standing still, it's time to be able to move around a bit. So remember, if the lead is loose, he gets a treat. Doesn't matter where he is, he can be on either side of you, front or back. As long as that lead's loose, he gets the treat. So, yeah, get one for that, good. Oh, yeah, still loose. If at any point the lead gets tight, you just stop giving him the treats, stand, wait till he comes back to you and the lead's slack again, and then give him the treat. And practice this all the time. He has to know the minute that lead goes on, it's got to be loose. Yay, good boy. Now, as you know from the other films, step 3 is putting a name to the behaviour. But this is the only one that's different, because the cue for your dog not to pull is now going to be clipping the lead on in the first place. Not pulling is going to be your dog's default behaviour from now on. Isn't it, Dig? Good lad. So once you've practiced that a lot so that your dog knows not to pull on the lead, now you can start to add a distraction to make it a little bit harder. Maybe something like a toy that your dog really loves, like Mrs. Pig here. And what you're going to teach the dog is the only way that he's going to get to that toy is with a slack lead. So you start walking towards it. We're going to go and see Mrs. Pig. Look, Mrs. Pig. And if the lead gets tight, you back up. As soon as he comes back to you, start walking again. So the only way he's going to get to Mrs. Pig is if he does it on a loose lead. And if he gets all the way there, he can have it. Yay, good boy. Well done. Your dog has to believe 100% that the only way he's going to get to that toy is if the lead's loose. If the lead gets tight at all, it's going to take twice as long. As long as he believes that, it's in his interests to keep the lead loose. Good boy. Should we do that again? See, I told you it was really easy to teach your dog to walk on a loose lead. He just has to believe with all his heart and all his soul that never again will he get anywhere faster by pulling. The only quick way to get anywhere is on a loose lead. But it does take a lot of commitment. From now on, your dog must never, ever pull on the lead again. And that can be difficult, because sometimes you just quickly want to get somewhere. But if he pulls just once and gets there faster just once, he's always going to believe that it's worth doing. So if you don't have that commitment, or maybe there's just days when you don't have time, you could put a harness on your dog or a head collar on your dog just to give yourself a bit of power steering. It's far better that you walk your dog on one of those than let him go on half strangling himself on a collar, which could cause injury to him, and it could also be unsafe for you. So, from now on, get out and practice and make sure that your dog never, ever pulls again.